Good morning, my name's Ryan Littlestone from ForexFlow.live. Here we are after a pretty hectic week last week, a bit of a crazy one with the election stuff going on, and will it happen, won't it happen, who's going to win? A lot of people looking for the blue wave and a big bid and win, but it wasn't as wide as some could expect. Obviously, we're still going through the stuff there. They're still counting, recounts, Trump court cases, so on and so forth. So we're not quite over the hump yet, but we saw markets moving, pricing towards a bid and win. But what we've noticed is that it's mainly fast money that's been doing the move. So this dollar selling that's been going on, mainly driven by the shorter term players. And what we've known and what we've seen is that the big money, the big investors are still sitting on the sidelines, and that's continued in today. So we've seen a few pairs, dollar pairs, sort of hitting ceilings. Aussie dollar 73, euro dollar up at 119, cable at 132, hitting the heads on those big levels and not managing to break. So that suggests that perhaps we're not seeing as much strength now from this fast money, and perhaps the investors with the big money sitting on the sidelines still just perhaps waiting a bit more to see what the first policies are of Biden, and to see whether there's going to be any court cases or anything that shakes things up. Now, one of the pairs I'm looking at today is dollar versus the CAD. I'm going to start with the daily chart here because, again, this is another pair on a big figure down at 130 on the dollar selling. And it's a pretty big level down here. It's a big psychological level down here. It's been a big level way back when we were coming up through it last year. And we've already tested down to this level prior, back sort of earlier this year, so August, September time. Saw a strong hold down around this 130, down to sort of 129.95. It tried a little dip under, and we saw a strong bounce from there. And so we're potentially facing the prospect of seeing whether we're going to get a nice strong double bottom here. So a big level to look at here. And as we can see, we've been down to 130 even. We need to give it a bit of room, perhaps down to 129.90, because that's where it got down to the lows before. See whether this level holds, and I'm potentially looking at longs off this level here. See if we get a nice decent bounce, see if the level's strong enough. But what I'm also looking for is perhaps to see whether we do break the level, whether it's worth reversing into a short. Now, as I say, on the daily chart, you can see quite clearly we've got the potential for this double bottom. But if we move to the weekly chart, we can see perhaps what's going to happen if we get a break underneath it. And we have still got some decent levels down here, down to the low 129s. But really, if we do get a break of this 130 level, and it confirms as being held, i.e. we see a breakthrough, maybe down to sort of the 90, 85, 80 area, then a test back up to 130. If that 130 level then holds, then we've got greater conviction that we've got a break on. So if I do grab into a longs here, then what I'll be looking to do perhaps is reverse that into a short, put my stop down below 130, reverse that into a short, and see if this break, if we get a break, if it runs and where it can run to. As I say, on the weekly chart, you can see we've got a pretty solid levels around here. So get under this 130, get under 129, and then perhaps the seller door opens and we see a bigger push down, maybe towards the 127s. So that's what I'm looking for trading on this pair. As I say, there's lots in the mix as usual: viruses, the election, oil. Obviously, you have to keep an eye on here to see whether that gets a boost on potential Biden stimulus spending or infrastructure spending, because that'll be another kicker for the CAD to strengthen. So that's what I'm looking at this week, and as I say, just seeing what the next message from the election to come out, and to play the trades via that. So as always, I wish you luck for this week, and see you next week.